Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you are right now, I want you to stop scrolling, stop doubting, and start listening, because this message is for you. You see, adversity is life's way of asking you, do you really want what you say you want? When life knocks the wind out of you, when your plans fall apart, when everything that can go wrong does go wrong, that's when your true strength shows up. But let me tell you something. It's not about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down. Mental strength isn't born in comfort zones. It's not found in applause, likes, or approval. It's forged in fire, in the dark moments, when no one's clapping for you and no one's checking in. That's when your mindset either collapses or carries you. Let me be clear. You are not weak because you're struggling. You are strong because you're still standing. You are stronger than that divorce, stronger than that diagnosis, stronger than that rejection, stronger than that failure. You hear me? Stronger. So what do you do when adversity hits? You stand tall, you dig deep, and you decide, right there in the storm, I am more than my circumstances. I am more than my pain. I will not be defeated. You feed your faith and starve your doubt. You speak life to yourself when the world speaks death. And even when your knees shake, you show up. Because life isn't about avoiding storms. It's about learning how to dance in the rain with purpose, with power, and with unshakable belief that the best is still yet to come. Adversity doesn't come to break you. It comes to reveal you. Life will test you, not at the level of your potential, but at the level of your desire. You say you want to be great. You say you want success, freedom, peace. But when the storm hits, the question is, how bad do you want it? Because everybody wants the dream, but not everybody is willing to fight for it. When the dream turns into a nightmare, that's the test. Not when things are going right, but when everything is going wrong. When you're pursuing something meaningful, expect resistance. It's part of the process. Life will throw obstacles in your path, not to stop you, but to ask, are you serious? Are you committed? Or were you just playing with the idea? That heartbreak, that setback, that closed door, that's life saying, prove it. When adversity shows up, you can't afford to whisper your dreams. You've got to declare them with your whole soul, even while you're bleeding, crying, or walking through hell. Mental strength is not developed in peaceful moments. It is born when you have every reason to quit, but you choose to keep going. That's when something inside you activates. That's when you separate yourself from the average, the timid, and the weak-hearted. If your dream isn't worth suffering for, fighting for, or sacrificing for, then it's not a real dream. It's a fantasy, and adversity will expose that. It will find the weak spots, the doubt, the excuses, and hold them up like a mirror. You grow when your excuses die. You become strong when the only option left is to push forward or perish. Every champion, every visionary, every survivor has walked through moments when quitting felt like the logical thing to do. But what separated them was the decision to stand firm and say, "I didn't come this far to turn back now." If you can endure the pain, if you can pass the test, then the prize, the breakthrough, the transformation, that's waiting on the other side. Everybody falls. Everybody. No one gets through life undefeated. The people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable, the ones who make it look easy, they've all been on the floor at some point, crying, broken, exhausted. The difference is they didn't stay there. Falling down is part of the process. It's the tuition you pay for growth. Life isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be persistent. There is no shame in falling. The only shame is in surrendering your power and choosing to stay down. Most people think failure is the end. But failure is feedback. It's life's way of refining you. You only truly fail when you make the decision to give up. When you stop trying, stop learning, stop moving forward. See, life will hit you with disappointments, betrayal, loss. But what it can't do is dictate your response. That's on you. Will you rise? Will you adapt? Will you fight for the version of yourself that refuses to quit? You've got to get to the place where falling doesn't scare you anymore. Because when you're mentally strong, you stop seeing the ground as your enemy. You realize it's where you push off from. Some of your greatest breakthroughs will come after your biggest breakdowns. But you've got to stand back up. You've got to wipe your tears, square your shoulders, and keep moving. Because falling doesn't disqualify you. Quitting does. It's not about who had the smoothest path. It's about who had the courage to get back up one more time than they fell. That's the math of mental strength. Every time you rise after falling, you teach your mind that you're not a victim. You're a warrior. You're not defined by what took you down. You're defined by how you rise. And when you live like that, adversity stops being a dead end. It becomes a detour to something greater. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pressure, from stretching, from pain. The kind of strength you need to survive this life, to thrive in it, isn't built in luxury or ease. It's built when you're forced to walk through fire and keep walking. Comfort zones are beautiful places, but nothing ever grows there. You weren't created to play it safe. You were created to become strong. And that only happens when life puts weight on your shoulders and says, let's see what you're made of. Mental toughness is like a muscle. And just like the gym, you can't build muscle without resistance. The pain, the struggle, the discomfort. It's the workout. Every setback is a rep. Every failure, a repetition. Every hardship, a new level of resistance pushing you to grow. You want to be unshakable. Then stop asking for life to be easy and start asking for the strength to handle hard things. Because that's how warriors are made. Not when it's sunny, but when the storm is raging and they keep moving forward anyway. The reality is, adversity introduces you to your real self. Not the version you post online. Not the version people praise. But the raw, honest version. The one who cries at night and still gets up in the morning. Discomfort strips away the ego. It strips away the lies. It shows you what you actually believe. When everything is stripped down and you're standing there with nothing but your will, that's where strength is born. Not in comfort, in chaos, in pressure, in pain. You'll never know how strong you are until being strong is your only option. It's easy to talk about discipline, faith, and vision when life is good. But when everything's on fire, when you're in the valley, when nobody's clapping for you, that's when your character is tested. That's when you earn your resilience. You don't build mental strength by avoiding struggle. You build it by walking into it and saying, "This is hard, but I'm harder. This hurts, but I'm healing. This season is rough, but I'm rising through it." When life hits, one of the first things it tries to steal is your sense of identity. It tries to convince you that because you failed, you are a failure. That because you're hurting, you're broken. That because you lost something, you've lost everything. But listen, you are not your pain. You are not what happened to you. You are not the worst moment of your life. And you've got to fight every single day to remind yourself of who you are, especially when life tries to make you forget. This world will label you by your struggles, your mistakes, your past. It will try to define you by the worst season you've been through. But you've got to stand in the middle of the storm and reaffirm your identity. Speak it out loud. Shout it if you have to. Say, "I am worthy. I am enough. I am still becoming." You've got to tell yourself the truth, even when your circumstances are screaming lies. That's not delusion. That's discipline. That's survival. That's power. Your identity isn't based on what people see. It's based on what you decide. Pain may visit, but it doesn't have the right to move in. Set your foundation not on your emotions, but on your principles. Who are you when everything falls apart? That answer has to come from within. Because if you don't know who you are, the world will tell you. Your pain will try to convince you that you're weak, finished, forgotten. But the truth is, you're just being refined, not defined. Every single day, you've got to wake up and choose your truth. Choose your worth. Choose to believe that you are not what you feel. And you are not what you're going through. Your value doesn't shrink because you're in a valley. Your strength isn't erased because you're in pain. You're still powerful, still valuable, still full of potential. The pain is real, but so is your identity. And that identity must never be up for negotiation. The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Not the one with your friends. Not the one with your followers. The one inside your own mind when nobody's around. That voice, your inner dialogue, can be your prison or your passport. It can keep you stuck in fear, shame, and doubt, or it can push you into purpose, into power, into growth. You've got to take control of that voice, because if you don't train it, life will tame you. Every day, the world is going to try to define you. People will project their fears onto you. Your past will whisper lies. Your failures will echo doubts. But your job, your responsibility, is to overrule that noise with truth. Not external truth, internal truth. You've got to speak life to yourself, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it, because the strength to rise doesn't start with your hands. It starts with your words. You've got to become your own encourager, your own motivator, your own reminder. Don't wait for someone else to validate you. Validate yourself. Look in the mirror and declare, I am more than this moment. I am greater than this pain. I am still in the fight. You can't win a battle when your mind is against you. Start speaking with intention. Speak like someone who's already overcome. Speak like someone who's not hoping for victory, but expecting it. The battlefield is always in the mind. If you don't discipline your thoughts will discipline you. You can have talent, intelligence, potential. But if your mind is filled with fear, insecurity, and negativity, none of that matters. So train your thoughts. Redirect the negative. Replace lies with affirmations. Interrupt doubt with declarations. When your inner voice becomes your ally, there's no challenge in this world that can take you out. Mental strength isn't built when everything is going right. It's built when showing up is the hardest thing to do. Anybody can show up when they're motivated. Anybody can put in work when they feel inspired. But what separates the strong from the average is the decision to show up, even when it hurts, even when you're tired, even when the fire in you is barely flickering. That's real strength. That's grit. That's what moves mountains. Not emotion, but discipline. You've got to make a decision that your feelings don't run your life. Your purpose does. Some days, you're not going to feel powerful. You're not going to feel capable. You won't hear applause. You won't get recognition. And you won't have motivation. But guess what? You still show up. Because the goal hasn't changed. The dream hasn't changed. The fight is still worth it. You can cry, but you still show up. You can doubt, but you still show up. You can break, but you still show up. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present, being committed, being consistent. The world is full of talented people who quit. People with potential who never followed through. But the ones who win, they're the ones who made a habit of showing up when most people would rather stay in bed, sit in silence, or run from the pressure. Your future belongs to the version of you that's willing to show up without excuses, regardless of how you feel. Because every time you show up when it's hard, you're building something inside that can't be taught. You're developing a foundation of trust with yourself. You're proving day by day that you can depend on you. That when things get rough, you don't shrink, you rise. That's what mental toughness looks like. Not a motivational poster, not a social media quote, but the daily grind of showing up when it's hard, when it's heavy, when it hurts, and doing it anyway. So let me ask you right now, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want peace, healing, growth, freedom, greatness? Because life is not handing it to you on a silver platter. You've got to earn it through adversity, through setbacks, through pain, through discipline, through the days when you feel like giving up, and the nights when no one sees you crying. You keep going. Mental strength is not about pretending to be okay. It's about choosing not to quit when you're not. It's about getting back up again and again until you teach your struggle that it picked the wrong person to mess with. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all together. You just need to decide, I will not give up on me. Not today. Not ever. Because there is more inside of you. More strength. More courage. More resilience. More power than you even realize. And the world needs what you have. But first, you have to believe it. You have to fight for it. You have to show up every single day, like your life depends on it. Because it does. So rise up, stand tall, and walk forward. Not because the path is easy, but because you are stronger than anything standing in your way.